Hi everyone. June has arrived here in Southern California. I'm in Zone 10B. With Memorial Day behind us, the unofficial start of summer is here. It's a glorious time in the garden as the plants are enjoying the transition from spring to summer with longer and warmer days. The longest day of the year on the summer solstice is later this month on June 21st. The plants have responded enthusiastically to the increased sunlight as the garden is growing rapidly. We're also reaping the rewards of planting our warm season plants early this year as we're already harvesting tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, beans, and cucumbers. In this video, I'll take you on a tour of our small 100 square foot kitchen garden, which is made up entirely of containers. We'll harvest some veggies and do some chores. I'll amend the soil in a container. I'll sow Korean radishes and bush beans, and I'll train our cucumbers and tomatoes on a trellis. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned gardener, let us show you how fun, easy, and practical it is to grow veggies in containers. We would love to hear from you in the comments about any connections you have as you watch this video. If you get anything out of the video, please consider hyping, liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. We would really appreciate your support. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start the tour of my Japanese cucumber plants. I have 2 containers here with 4 plants. This variety is called Tsuyataro, and here you see a beautiful fruit developing. There are several fruit developing on these 4 plants with lots of flowers, and I think we're going to have a really good season. I'm really excited about these cucumbers this year. Let's take a closer look at the trellis. So you'll see that I have 4 stakes in this pot, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I have the same 4 stakes on the other side, as well as this twine that's anchored into the soil. As we go up the trellis, you can see that I have the inside stake connected with a buckle and a zip tie to reinforce this outside stake. And as we go to the top, the 2 outside stakes are connected with a connector. That's called an A-type connector. And there's a horizontal stake that goes across that's clipped into those connectors with the twine tied off. So let's go back down. Here we have the leader of this first plant that is loose and kind of flopping over a little bit. So I'm going to clip this into the twine using a clip that looks like this. So let me show you how I do that. Here's what the clip looks like. It's hinged, and it's got these little teeth at the hinge that grab onto the twine. And then it closes, and it clips together. This round part will go around the leader. So let's go ahead and attach it. You'll want this to go just below a node so that if the plant tries to drop down, it'll stop at that node. Okay, so you place the hinge part of that clip onto the twine, and then you just simply clip it together. Around the corner from the cucumbers are the tomatoes, and here is the trellis. It's virtually identical to the cucumbers. It's a little shorter, but you'll also notice that there's more twine at the top. When the plants get to the top of this trellis, I'll loosen up the twine and let the plants bow out so that they can continue growing up. I am clipping the leaders to the twine with the same clips. But let me show you what I'm doing down here. With the cucumbers, I had 1 line of twine per plant, but with the tomatoes, I have a 2nd line of twine. Let me show you why. As we go up, you see a clip here into the main leader, but at this point right here, you see a sucker that goes out to the side. There was a sun leaf that I trimmed off. I am training this sucker into a 2nd leader. So as we go up, here we have a clip that's training, again, the second leader up this line of twine. And we have another clip here that's training the main leader up this line of twine. Wherever there's a sucker, like here and at other places, I'm cutting those out to direct the energy up the main leaders. So you can see that it is growing very nicely. And if we pan over to this side, here is the second leader. Remember, this came from the sucker. And there is fruit coming off of the leader. So there you see a fruit protected with a bag. And here's some more fruit back here. And here's some fruit coming off of the main leader. The reasons for training these tomato plants up 2 liters is threefold. The first is to control the size of the plants. I don't have the luxury of space in my 100 square foot garden, so by cutting out the suckers, I can get in and out of these rows. Second, by cutting out the suckers, I can reduce the bushiness of these plants. By reducing the bushiness, there's really good airflow from the wind to maintain the health of these plants and minimize powdery mildew. And third, the plant's energy is focused on just the 2 liters to better develop the fruit. In these 3 pots, I have bitter melon, also called bitter gourd. These plants have come a long way since last month when I planted them into these pots. You can see that the plants are filling in this plant cage, and the plants have reached the top of the cage. So I have 3 levels. The top level is the 3rd level. This is the 2nd level here, and the 1st level. As the lateral shoots grow out, I will have them trained on one of the 3 levels. So later this summer, as the fruit forms, the fruit will hang from one of the 3 levels, which will make it really easy to pick. I'm often asked by viewers, what kind of soil do I use in my containers? If I'm starting a brand new container, this is the product that I use. It's Kellogg Garden Organics Raised Bed and Potting Mix. This is ready to use right out of the bag. This has added kelp meal, poultry manure, earthworm castings, and core for greater water retention. So I'll place this into a new container, and I might add some leaf mold to introduce worms into the container to help break down the organic material. It has a woody texture, so let me give you a closer look at that. Let's take a closer look at this raised bed mix. It has a wonderful texture to it. It does feel more woody, but the wood chips are very, very small. There's less perlite than you would see in a potty mix. This is ready to go. You can use this straight away in your containers. I believe amending the soil in a container is just as important as starting off with a good quality soil. Here I am amending this container that previously had carrots in it. The first ingredient that I use in amending the soil is this Kellogg Garden Organics Raised Bed soil that I mentioned previously. The second ingredient that I use is this homemade leaf mold. It's a wonderful soil conditioner made from decomposed leaves. Here you see me scooping it out of my leaf mold bin and then adding it to this container. You can see that my leaf mold is teeming with worms. If you'd like to learn how to make leaf mold, check the link in the description. The third ingredient that I use in amending the soil in my containers is this EB Stone Organics Tomato and Vegetable Food. It's formulated from natural organic ingredients. It has an NPK of 453, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. There is additional phosphorus to improve the quality of the vegetables. That's why the middle number is a little bit higher. It's blended with humic acid to help increase micronutrient uptake. And it's blended with beneficial soil microbes, including mycorrhizal fungi, which aid roots in the absorption of nutrients. When mixing in the compost, leaf mold, and organic fertilizer, I till it in very shallowly because I don't want to damage the structure of the soil. The last step in amending the soil is to add a thick layer of mulch. This mulch will keep the soil moist and keep those worms happy. Into these two pots, I'm going to sow Korean radishes and blue lake bush beans. The way I like to sow these smaller seeds is to broadcast them. So I'm going to place some onto my hand like that, and then just broadcast them evenly. Hopefully, a good percentage of them germinate, if not all of them. And if that's the case, I'll just go back in and thin them out to the strongest seedlings. So I'm going to spread them out. Now I'm going to broadcast them fairly thick. I want to make sure I get plenty of seeds that germinate. Okay. All right, now that the seeds are down, I have to put a thin layer of soil. The way I do that is I take this screen that has this hardware cloth, and I'm going to place some potting soil over the top and just work it over the seeds. And what this does is it allows the finer material to fall through the screen, and it keeps out all this thick stuff. Okay, that should be good. And so what you see here is this nice thin layer of soil, nice and soft. That's going to make it very easy for these seeds to germinate. They won't have to push up through those big chunks of wood. Okay. Next, I will take a piece of burlap and place it over the top and secure it with some clothespins. And what this will do is it will prevent that soil from crusting over from the sun. We're doing everything we can to make this as easy as possible for these seeds to germinate. Okay, and let's see, here is the label. And okay, the first thing I'm going to do is take out this mulch. This mulch has been keeping the soil nice and moist as it's laid fallow for the past several weeks. Okay, these seeds go in 1 inch deep, and they should be spaced out to 4 inches. But I'm going to sow several seeds and then thin them out once they germinate. So I'm going to go an outside perimeter and an inner circle. Okay, so those are about 1 inch. So I have these blue lake beans that I soaked overnight. Just place them into the holes. Just put some potting soil over the top and put a nice fluffy layer of soil into those holes. Let's see what we got here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just gently fill in those holes. Okay, and let's see, here's the label for it. Okay, let's go ahead and water these in. Okay, the Korean radishes and the blue lake bush beans have been sown. In this pot, I have Black Beauty zucchini squash. This is a classic summer squash known for its exceptionally dark, glossy green, and creamy white flesh. Here you see a nice fruit developing. There's one in the back there. And there's a female. Hopefully it gets pollinated and fertilized. Really looking forward to harvesting these. In this pot, I have jalapeno peppers. You can see several fruit on this plant. This is a medium hot pepper that we like to use in our cooking. In these two grow bags, I have two varieties of sweet potatoes. This is a Satsuma sweet potato, and this is a purple sweet potato. I'm trying something different this season. I planted more slips than I normally do. With the purple sweet potatoes, I added 9 slips into that grow bag, and for the Satsuma, I added 6 slips. And the hope is that I'll have a higher yield by having more slips. We'll just have to wait and see. In the herb corner, I have a pot here of basil, cilantro, and chives. Looks like the basil is starting to go to seed as well as the cilantro. Here we have some thyme. Now take a look at this nice pot of mint. I actually cut it all the way down to the surface soil and it's come back very nicely. Beautiful leaves. This is great in our cooking as well as in cocktails. Here we have some parsley doing very nicely. This is Thai basil that Ginger just recently used in some of her cooking. And here we have Thai peppers, and I think I saw some peppers developing here. Here we see a pepper, several more. And in this pot we have green onions. Ginger's in the garden to help harvest veggies. So what's the plan, Ginger?
We are harvesting tomatoes that have arrived at the breaker stage. And this is a stage where the tomatoes turn from green to just starting to change color. So I'm going to clip this. And this will ripen on the windowsill. And it's great timing because we can beat any kind of critters that are trying to get to them. So this was after one day. This was picked yesterday on the windowsill. And this is, I think, another day?
2 days,
2 days. And then this one here was after 3 days. And it is so ready to be eaten.
What did you harvest today, Ginger?
We harvested tomatoes, eggplant, shishito, a mix of yellow wax beans and blue lake, and some Korean radishes, and 2 carrots that Luna ate, and they're not in the basket.
Thank you, honey. So there you have it. This was our June gardening update. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider hyping, liking, and sharing this video with people you know. Please consider subscribing to our channel. We would really appreciate your support. And as always, thank you so much for watching.